Hi everybody, Rick Gilmore here, the good company to be in if you want to lead naturally and be who you are. Now in today's video, I want to ask you, does culture really eat strategy for breakfast? Now many of you might agree, a lot of fuss and noise is made these days about the role and importance of culture in business. And for those of you who are seriously in the business of building culture, you've likely noticed that cultural challenges come in many guises, don't they? Now some of you might be involved in a greenfield site or a startup phase, and you might be wondering, how do we build an authentic culture from the ground up? Or maybe you're in an established operation and you're dealing with cultural legacy issues, or hitting up against a broken culture and pulling your hair out as to how to fix it. Or you could be facing too vanilla a culture and you need to inject more personality and vim and vigour and vitality into the cultural mix. And I'm sure those of you who've been around more than a few workplaces, you've probably certainly noticed that some cultures can bring out the best in you, while others certainly can bring out the worst. Now an old favourite saying of mine is an old Turkish proverb, and it goes something like, "No road is long with good company. No road is long with good company." And of course the flip side of that is also true, that any road can be very long with bad company. Now motivator Tony Robbins, he says something like, how you live your life, or the quality of your life, is a direct reflection of the needs and expectations and values of your peer group. And so of course he admonishes, choose your friends and peers wisely, your mates wisely. Or as an old coach of mine used to put it more bluntly, if you're going to hang around with dogs, you're going to get up with fleas. What does this all really mean for the business bottom line? Would it be fair to say that we now live and work in an age of commoditisation? Now that's a fancy way of saying we now live and work in a time when competitors have access to virtually all the same resources and services and products, and pricing models can all start to look the same after a while, don't they? And every year it can feel harder to really stand out. Yet, would it also be fair to say that culture is one area still left standing that can't be copied or commoditised? And if culture can't be copied or commoditised, then isn't it one serious avenue in which to set up one organisation's performance over another's and drive differentiation and long-term competitive edge and business success? And likewise, isn't the impact of a weak and wishy-washy culture potentially lethal? Here's the truth of this. Recent research shows that organisations with engaged cultures are 3 times more likely to be productive and profitable than organisations with disengaged cultures. Yet the reality is, 79% of workplaces are disengaged. And you may even be more surprised to hear that 89% of employers think people leave because of the money, when in fact actually only 12% of people leave for the money. So in other words, make no mistake, culture can have a massive direct impact on your bottom line. Yet the sad fact is that so few businesses seem to know how to consciously create an authentic culture that thrives and thrives and thrives some more. Now, if you were with me a little while back, you would have seen me delivering and facilitating a workshop, delivering a keynote address for a high-profile Australian organisation in the construction sector. And early on, there was a lot of banter going on around what matters most, strategy, execution, or culture. And I'll never forget when one of the GMs got a huge hurrah and brought the house down when he nailed it for everyone, when he decreed, yes, strategy and execution may be king, but culture is King Kong. Now that was back in 2014. Yet if you were sitting with the Buddha 25 centuries back, and I know that would be very weird, you would have heard something similar. And if you were sitting there, you would have heard Ananda, the right-hand monk of the Buddha, ask the Buddha, what was the importance of the community of practitioners or admirable friendships? And you had heard the Buddha reply that actually admirable friendships were the whole of the holy life. And that when a monk, or anyone else for that matter, has admirable people as friends, they can be expected to pursue and develop the Noble Eightfold Path, which was Buddhist system or pathway. So here's the thing. Even in the secluded, meditative and monastic forest monk traditions, with the renunciants who weren't supposed to socialise or casually hang out with each other much and contemplate and meditate day in, day out, night and day, even there being visible in right relationship and being good company to each other and serving each other and being served and holding each other to a higher standard was a senior principle to any specific methods or techniques the renunciates might have been practicing to achieve their goals of liberation. You see, the thing is, change happens in relationship, and you need the mirror of relationship to go to the next level. And the real secret method of the ancient masters and the switched-on modern business leaders is the gift of right relationship and right culture itself. Now, I sense some of you might be thinking, well, hold on, wait a minute, that all sounds really cool, and I get that culture might be King Kong and the secret and the big secret for business success, but what's next? How do we do that? So hold on to that thought bubble, because that's what I'll be covering in my next videos. So what I'd like you to think about as a result of listening to this video, does culture really eat strategy for breakfast? Or how do you empower ownership of culture? Or what are some tips you might have for reversing a culture of resistance and reluctance? And so if you like this video, if so, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Or be good company and post it on to some of your mates and peers and colleagues. And if you're watching this on anything other than goodcompanycoaching.com.au, head over there and leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And until we meet again, be who you're meant to become, and I look forward to seeing you again real soon.